Hey guys, this is Amay, and in this little video, I would like to discuss for a moment the magenta, okay, magnet, and it is a magnet. The color magenta is a magnet. We appear to be in a existence that is heavily magneticized, okay? Um, Magenta is a color that is everywhere in this layer of the artificial construct in which our consciousness is experiencing in a very illusory state, which appears to be real in a material plane. Okay? Magenta is the latest thing over the last, I would say it's become quite prominent, especially since a certain experience around 2020. I believe it was also a color of the year in 2021 or 2020. Could have been 2023. It doesn't matter. But it's everywhere. You see it in advertising. You see it in an overlay in older videos. The Aurora Borealis. Okay, you're going to see a lot of magenta. And you might think to yourself, well, it was always there. No, it's definitely stronger. It's definitely more prevalent in this existence, in this state of consciousness. A layer of astral. That's why astrology, which really should be spelled with an A, because we are in a layer of the astral. That does not mean like the Bordeaux, although it is, I can see how some would think that, how this is a layer of a type of limbotic state. This is a type of transitory place. But at the end of the day, even though we feel like we were born into this place, and you absolutely were, you were orbed into here, but you are an orb. And that's a whole nother video that I did. That is you, the light being which emanates outside of you, and it's decoded through the system of which is the brain, and then it's decoded through a series of zeros and ones, a binary system which is essentially shot out through the black centers of the eyes, and actually the right side is consciousness, and the left side, which is connected to the right side, right? Then we start getting into neuro stuff and brain stuff. But the truth is magenta plays a big role in this. The magnetic forces, these magnetic forces, which is magenta. Of course, it's all the colors and the spectrum, blah, blah, blah. But magenta plays a huge role in this, as it is helping to deliver this experience that you are having. Okay? It is helping to deliver that. And as I was saying, you are viewing this kind of like a virtual reality headset through the little black centers of the eyes. Well, for some reason, magenta is a powerful force here. Okay? Magnet. A magnet. Magenta. Now, the sun is magnetism. You're in an electromagnetic field in which you're existing, in which you're residing. It's electromagnetic, and we see magnet, we see magenta, we see that the sun is creating a sort of magnetism, and we know that it's very close. And if I have to say this in every video, I will. The sun is super close to you. I hope, anyone who's gotten this far in their research and their investigation of what this place really is, if you think still at this point that the sun is millions of miles away, I don't even know what they're saying now. 97 million, 27 million, whatever it is. If you think that, I don't know what to tell you. That it's very, very close to you. Okay, and these waveforms are right above us. Okay, this creates the wheel. All right, and the waveforms. Time, Chronos, Saturn, all related to the zodiac. But the zodiac is consciousness. They are deities. They are elements of consciousness. So when you are clicking on this and clicking on that in this ridiculous artificial internet, if you will, and you are seeing someone pictured with a rock in the sky behind them, anything that appears like that, or Saturn, keep moving. That's my advice. And I would say that the majority of those in the astrological field, and even if they did believe, even if they think God, even if they have any revelations at this point going, oh my God, this doesn't make any sense. Even if they did, you wouldn't know it because they must uphold the charade, if you will. And most, to be honest, those of us on the download are a very small number. Those of us that are on the 33.3 frequency is what I like to say. Those of us tuned into this radio station, okay, there's not, I don't care what anyone says. There's not that many of us. There's not that many of us. And that includes some in the alternative world. A lot of them who are here just as to help influence you, but keep you just staring at the screen at the end of the day. So you have to be careful with that. Even in the word astrologic is logic, and it's a star logic. It's an astral logic, okay? And the only meaning for me, the O could represent the circle, because we are encircled into here. Yes, we're cubed in, we're triangled in, we're circled into here, but there's the ecliptic and there's the precession. And the thing is, these magnetic forces, these waveforms right above us, we are directly connected to. Directly. It is so close. I am certain without a shadow of a doubt, it is so close to us. Like you could reach out. You can't reach out and touch it, but look at the paintings. Like what are they doing, like in the Last Supper and in those paintings? They're pointing because you should be pointing, because that those fingers touching are the direct. We are the conduit. There's a conduit. We are directly connected to those gods, to the deities, and the God is within you. You have come into this state of consciousness. You have come into here as in a magnetic projection, projected down into here by magnetic forces, and you are comprised of all the waveforms. And that is what the zodiac is. Why did you choose to have this? I don't know. Why did we choose to have it? Some say that you signed a contract. I think that's no. So, and I don't think that it's a school in that sense. I think that you do learn here. I think that you do elevate here. You can ascend here. But I don't think at the end of the day that the intention of the construct is to be a school for you. That's why there is, I mean, you can see that in the foe, okay? I'm going to say the opponent who opposes you makes it evident that there is learning here. There is learning. That's why there's a struggle. But I have a real hard time believing that when I see major human suffering on a level that we are seeing lately, it's just unbearable to see, whether it's people on the street and the drugs and things like this, and you hear about the children. No, mm-mm, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I do think there's learning here. Um, I do think that we can expand. We can learn how, in the words of Pink Floyd, learning to fly. Right? We can. As Saturn came down here, his wings were clipped. Right, in the story that is personified, Saturn, and that is an element of you. Right. So, and let me rephrase that a little bit. Even though I don't think it's a school, what I was trying to say is I do think that there's learning here. I'm just not of the belief that it's set up with your or our best intentions. Um, Somehow we made our way into this construct, into this low vibrational field. And when I think of school, I think of it more as a concept that is for your benefit. Do you know what I mean? Like, in other words, if you were a child going through the grades of school, you would have been taught things like about the zodiac. You would have been taught gematria. You would have been taught at a high level of art and painting, classical music. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't have been taught a series of things that were just based on memorization, just to fill up your RAM, your Mars, your Aries head, right? In an effort to uphold their construct. It's their school. So, in a way, if you want to look at it as we are creating our own school, right? This other level of consciousness in which we are, we could look at it that way. And ultimately, what I want to get back to is the magenta, as it is a powerful force, the magnetic force. Colors are huge with the waveform. They are coming down, they are emanating, and we are emanating back. It's a synergistic relationship with the colors for the HUE-MAN, right? So, for me, Aurora Borealis is very much the waveforms, Venus, Mars, Mercury. They all have their own colors, and they are exalted or even muted or diminished depending on the house system in which they are in. Are they in retrograde? If that makes sense to you, if you understand what I'm saying, their movement, they're moving every second. Right now, Mercury has moved into water, has moved into Pisces, and can be a detrimental force. This is in his detriment. And the thing is imagine someone, from what I'm reading and learning, is say you're at a party and you're interacting with a very strong mercurial person. Okay, they may be talking to you like, and you may even be experiencing this because you're experiencing it too, the Mercury going into Pisces, and so they may begin to initially appear as having a high intellect, but they actually make no sense at all. It's total nonsense, right? That's kind of Mercury in retrograde, from my understanding. And so, because Mercury represents a good intellect, doesn't it? So, and that's the zodiac, and the zodiac is you. You are the elements of the zodiac, and the elements, fire, air, water, earth, and you may have more, and you are the patterns, and you are the angles, and you are the magenta. You're experiencing the magenta color form, as we're limited to we are very limited to our five senses, but that's not what's really surrounding us. I mean, what we view in these little black Saturnian cubes in these two little eyes is in our little scorpion eyes is what we're viewing is, and I say scorpion just because it always makes me think of Scorpio. That isn't, don't try to remember that. So, but what I'm saying is so what we're viewing is very limited. I mean, literally there could be horse and buggy right in front of you in another dimension. Absolutely, there are other dimensions. In this particular dimension that we are experiencing, though, we are not experiencing black and white type horse and buggy. You know, we have entered into Oz, if you will. And when Wizard of Oz was big, obviously Dorothy, thy door, thy portal, right? Dorothy, thy door, gale, wind. She entered into emerald, Thoth, thought, right? The colors, Oz. But the zodiac is all right there. And that is Oz. Oz, zodiac, diac, dial. There is a dial. There is a clock above us. But we happen to be, unlike Dorothy in the emerald green, we are in a more muted resolution. Colors are more muted. But the magenta, the magnet, is very bright. Notice it. Notice it when you're out. Yeah, like the sky is more of a muted blue. The sun is muted. The soul, SOL, is a muted resolution in this digital construct, this ethernet in which we reside, right? Okay, but magenta is strong. The magnet is strong as you're projected into here. So I want you to look at this through a level of consciousness, a higher state. And that's how I can help you as far as the patterns, the angles, and the zodiac. This is how I can help you on a personal level or through these videos, is it's a completely different from a lot of the other agendas, you know, the other angles out there, angels out there with the zodiac. And a lot of their main focus is obviously money, right? So, side note here, my grandmother actually, her name, we called her Moni. That wasn't her name, but we called her Moni. And my grandfather was Pepe, like Pepe Orsini. But I come from a very aristocratic blue blood uh, ancestry in New Orleans, and I'm very proud of it. It's very strange. It's a very strange background. You know, we were practicing levitation and hypnotism when I was a kid. My grandfather founded the Institute of Hypnosis, and he was a painter and a jazz musician. So I do think that these things trickle down, these ancestors. I do think they do. They're elements of our consciousness connected with DNA. You know, I absolutely, absolutely. And maybe that's inside of you too. You know, maybe that's where some of your profound wisdom, how you are connecting to the constellations, to consciousness in the sky, you know, the orbs, and how you were born in here. So the magenta is a powerful force in this magnetic field, in this electromagnetic state, in this uh, ethereal Ethernet Earth experience, which is nothing more than experience of consciousness in this plane of existence. And I'll stop there. But I hope that I expanded on magenta, on the magnet, enough. I hope I explained it well. I try to illustrate as best I can with a limited use of these symbols called the alphabet in the English language, the English. You know, I'm doing the best I can in this HUE-MAN form to explain this to you. That comes from my connection above, and in which all I record as we are recorded in here in my notebooks. So, all right, so I'm in Mobile, heading on a train to New Orleans this afternoon amidst the carnival, the Arc in Vol, season, Mardi Gras, the worship of Mars, which is Tuesday, as Mercury has recently just headed into Pisces, into water. Lots of Lush Fests going on. I'm surrounded by them. The NPCs are in full throttle, in their element, in their natural habitat. They don't know any different, and we can't fault them. They're on the download. They're on a different radio station, a different channel. So I will end there and be back to you from New Orleans in a day or two. And I hope that you guys are well. I love your comments. You're so brilliant. It's the most amazing connections. And it's just YouTube is a very false construct. It's a very false construct, YouTube. It's very synthetic. So in my internet, the few that with my limited reach that I've encountered here are absolutely amazing, every one of you. So I love to see and hear your thoughts and comments. And happy Mardi Gras, and signing off, pun intended. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for listening.